Naders and Clyde.
Yeah. Now, Clyde is a player that we didn't really get to talk about that much.
Yeah.
But he's definitely made a name for himself. He's had some very... he was in that tournament with Nick at Night and Yarn, and he knocked all of them out. Right?
Really?
I think it was Clyde, right?
Okay, I'm not exactly sure, but I think you might be right. You're right, it was that week. Clyde definitely top forward, and then the following week lost in the top 16 to Pompeo. So he was actually the 18th seed on the leaderboard, the 16th seed in this event. And let's see if he can impress. I mean, we know that everyone top to bottom is a powerful player. Yeah. I want to see how he does. This is a pretty classic Hog mini P.E.K.K.A. cycle deck. I like the addition of Tesla with the balance patch, and interesting, of course, the players want to keep playing Hog after the nerf. Yeah. Clyde did play this giant poison deck in the tournament that he did really well in. I think I kind of favor Naders in this event because the mini P.E.K.K.A. is good against the giant. The Ice Wizard and Tesla Tower are going to be really good against P.E.K.K.A. and things like that. It's going to be hard for Clyde to find damage, but I like the fact that Clyde is running Princess Poison. I think that combination gives you some kind of amount of consistent damage that you can kind of rely on, and always make sure that you at least, as long as you're defending well, your opponent has to respond to the fact that every once in a while you're going to have that poison come down and then the Princess to lob at least one volley. And in a 3-minute overtime game at tournament levels, that could be a tower down. Absolutely.
Let's take a look. Goblins to open in a classic Hog cycle opening.
And notice this isn't a giant balloon deck. It's actually, Clyde is playing a giant poison push. You know, it's got mini P.E.K.K.A., it's got, Spear Goblins and Princess, but it's not the giant balloon combo that we've seen take over the tournament in the last few weeks. Yeah. Tesla Tower in the middle by Naders is going to do a huge amount of damage. That actually has way more hit points now since...
Look how tanky that is.
Yeah, it didn't seem like much, but when you consider the difference between it and Cannon now, I think Tesla's a really good option.
Yeah, and I think Naders did kind of a cheap defense, and he was okay with allowing those Spear Goblins get through, but look at how much damage that was. One swing from the Giant and a bunch of spears from the Spear Goblin, and that's exactly what a Giant push wants to do. You want to use cheap cards like Archers or Spear Goblins as made popular by Jason. Those are the ideal cards that you want to assist the Giant with, because all the Giant needs to do is take the attention of the elixir drops that your opponent uses to defend, and then the cheap cards come in and do the damage.
Great Barbarians there. You can see Barbarians are one of the top counters to Hog Riders, and I really like, though, that Naders was able to see that coming, get the Fireball off just in time.
Use the Zap to buy a little extra time on those Barbarians, and then that slight amount of damage allowed the Fireball to actually eliminate the Barbarians entirely.
It's 6 elixir to counter 5, which I think some people might say is a bad elixir trade, except that when you consider he did 1,000 damage to the tower, that's worth it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you only spent effectively 1 or 5 elixir to do 1,000 damage. Yeah. It's great.
And it puts the ball in Clyde's court to make sure that he does a counter push that is incredibly effective and worth that 2 elixir deficit.
The downside of course, having towers is that, well, like, you get poisoned sometimes. They're predictable. You know where they're going to go. They're not going to move out of it.
And this is what we're talking about. Even though Naders was able to defend that push, the poison is just going to slowly chip away. And as long as Clyde can tighten up his Hog Rider defense, I think he's going to be able to whittle his tower down. Both towers at the exact same health, and it just, I mean, gut reaction is that Naders was much more successful on his pushes, but we see that that's not quite the case.
You can see how a single Fireball, though, can just delay that entire push. I mean, great job by Clyde really using the Princess to grind down the defense. Between Poison and Princess, there really wasn't much of a counter push, but still. Oh, Zap plus the Spear Goblins. That put 1 attack. We'll get 2. 2.
He got a lot of damage in, and the Hog Rider is nerfed just a little bit, but the Princess is actually, much like a Mortar, tagged onto the tower, and it lowered the right side tower down to 643. This game is much closer than I thought it would be. It always feels like Naders is just barely defending Clyde's pushes, but Clyde is getting a little bit of chip damage every single time. This might be the Hog Rider push. I think they're
11 seconds left. Takes the tower, breaks it.
They're going to trade towers. They're going into overtime. I like that choice from Clyde. He knew that he could not defend that tower from 2 swings of the Hog with the elixir that he had, so he just wanted to make sure that he broke down that right side tower before overtime hit, made sure that he was guaranteed to play the game out for another 3 minutes.
Smart collector by Clyde, too. He expects this game to go long, 2 full health towers. He's like, I bet I can get a whole minute out of elixir collecting there.
Yeah. Maybe the Hog Rider to add on. Now, when the tower's down and you're kind of in overtime, this is an interesting situation because you can start doing Hog Rider.
Whoa, look at that Hog go. Didn't quite make it because the Barbarians up there by Clyde behind it actually pulled the rest of the patch back. I actually like that play. Great play by Clyde. but these minions are going to stop his giant from going anywhere.
Clyde can play another giant aggressively, but he's going to go for the elixir collector. So with this play, we know that Clyde is not looking for the kill shot. He's looking to play a macro-style game. He's going up to 2 elixir collectors, and maybe this time is when he's going to look to invest a lot into his push.
For all the macro, though, you actually got to keep your tower alive. Oh, great defense
nice.
there by keeping, I mean, one single mini P.E.K.K.A. shot would have been 600 damage.
Take a look, double giant, and this is why 2 elixir collector in overtime is really, really great, especially when you have 1 tower down. Much like that royal giant effect, you can play them aggressively.
It's going to kill his mini P.E.K.K.A.
Oh no! And this could be really bad. The princess in the back, the card play was so
Here it comes,
perfect.
here it comes! Oh no! Clyde takes it in overtime, right as the Hog Rider touches his tower.
Clyde played that situation. The ordering that he placed his cards was so important. He led with the giant aggressively to give it time to cover up that space, to make it to that tower and start swinging on that tower. Forced Naders to try to play cards on the giant to defend. He had that mini P.E.K.K.A. and then the goblins to try to protect his own mini P.E.K.K.A. But then Clyde added on the princess in the back, and he just had an answer to every single defense that Naders played. And this demonstrates why Clyde, I think, is, I mean, he's kind of a new competitor.
Yeah.
He's kind of a new competitor, but he shows some very, very great decision making.